Steve Kingston there. I'm joined by Nabila Ramdani, who's a journalist focusing on the situation. Nabila, what clearly a pretty categoric development, if indeed that turns out to be the case.
Absolutely. The role of the army will prove to be key here, but it has always been ambivalent so far. On the one hand, they didn't do anything to prevent clashes yesterday between pro-Mubarak demonstrators and anti-Mubarak demonstrators, and now it is sending a different message here, saying that it will indeed make sure to protect anti-Mubarak demonstrators. So we're hearing very mixed signals here, a clear tactic of divide and rule.
Still orchestrated by the president?
Very much so, and the very introduction of people with the appointment of the Prime Minister, but also the Vice Prime Minister and indeed an Interior Minister with strong military credentials in an attempt to be appearing to make concessions, in fact just was a further militarization of the government.
Right, which brings us round to the degree to which the Egyptian authorities are remotely interested at this stage in what the outside world thinks, because clearly Washington is beginning to say, hang on, these are really bad images coming out, it's just what we don't want to see, there must be restraint. Do you think they're...
I think the statements coming out of Washington there's a discrepancy between what's been said in public and what's been discussed in private. The discourse coming out of Washington has evolved over time, putting more and more pressure on President Mubarak. But what's very clear is that they're not unequivocally asking President Mubarak to step down. If anything, it's classic US pragmatism backing both horses.
Well, they are still caught, aren't they, in this situation where there is a man of very long standing with whom they've learned to do basically pretty good business in terms of the peace process.
And ironically, the Americans are nervous to see a dictator go, because he proved over time to be a crucial ally in the region, not only to maintain a military relationship in the so-called war on terror, but also protect Israel through this 30-year peace agreement and make sure that the Gaza border is safe as well, and not least of all, access to the crucial Suez Canal.
Can I ask you, when we saw the nature of the violence of last night, were you surprised?
Not at all, but I have seen far worse covering riots in Paris, for example, and I was actually quite taken aback by the two relatively violent nature of the riots. We haven't seen, you know, something of, you know, clear...
Well, you think it could have been an awful lot worse than it turned out to be, is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
In which case, just to bring in this element as to what role the military might play, today is, again, I mean, I guess we've said this for a few days running now, but it is key, isn't it?
It's going to prove pivotal, because the army will have at some point to decide, you know, whether their clear intention is to restore law and order, or indeed let further clashes go ahead.
OK, Nabila, thank you very much indeed for your assessment on the situation in Egypt. We'll keep right across it for you here on BBC World News as the day